Welcome back. In this IELTS general reading lesson, we're going to look at some text types that you might see in your IELTS reading test. Now, this is pretty useful because if we have an idea of what kind of texts we'll see on the day, there'll be no surprises. So let's take a look at them now. So here we are, a few text examples. We'll begin with section 1, which is, of course, everyday English texts. So these are more like texts, leaflets, articles that you might see when going about your daily life, especially within a native English-speaking country. So let's take a look at a couple of these. Here we have a couple of handouts or leaflet type texts. Of course, they won't look exactly like this inside our IELTS reading test, but we have holiday cottage rental guides, public library membership guides. It might be something about gyms or transport around your local community. And we can see that they're reasonably sized in terms of length, although I'll give a bit away. The third type of text is actually a lot longer than this, but generally they're around this kind of length. So let's have a look at Holiday Cottage Rental Guide. It is exactly as you would think from the title, always reading titles first. And it's basically just giving ideas on how to rent a cottage and generally about how you can go on these kinds of holidays. The next text, Public Library Membership Guide. Again, the title pretty much explains everything that you need to know. And it just gives you an idea about the membership of a public library. And that is really a very common type of text type. You see a lot of stuff about gyms, fitness clubs, libraries, or any other kind of local amenities within your community, especially within a native English setting. So there you go, everyday English text. You'll see that within section 1 for IELTS reading. Up next, we have work and training related articles and texts, such as professional development seminar. So professional development is about training. It's something that's ongoing normally within most jobs. You might do it a few times a year and go through workshops and different kinds of training. This is really common. It might be a new employee guidebook. So imagine you've just started a job, you get given a guidebook. That could be another possible example of work and training related text for section 2. But here we have professional development seminar, giving you an idea about what the training day will entail. We've got the big title, we've got subheadings, which are really useful to read. Often it's quite good when you see the text just to quickly take a look at the title. And if there's some subheadings, take a look at those first two, because they will give you a lot of information about what the text is about. Subheadings are really useful when you see them within the test because they basically indicate where key information might be. So I always recommend read the title first, have a quick scan through the subheadings and then approach depending on the question. So there you go, an example of a section 2 article on work, training, employment, those kinds of texts. Now our last section, longer academic articles. And when I say longer, I do mean these texts are quite a bit longer. Don't worry about it. You might look at this and think, whoa, that's way too much text for me. Once you've practiced a few of these, reading them and answering questions for them, you'll be way more confident. It does look like a lot of text and it is quite a bit, but as you practice more, as we go through some more lessons, you'll feel much more confident. And here you go. Wow, quite a bit of text. Now, I'll just say you're not expected to be able to read all this within, a certain matter of minutes and understand everything that has been mentioned in the text. IELTS reading doesn't really test you on understanding everything in texts. It really wants to give an indication that you've got a good idea of what content is covered, but it's not about super deep reading for comprehension, reading again, and you're not going to read through this word for word very slowly and carefully 3 times because you'd run out of time. So it looks like a lot of text. As you practice questions for these text sizes, you'll get much more confident. Now, these are academic or longer academic texts, and they can be on absolutely anything. Environment, here we have crime and law, feigning illness to avoid criminal justice. It can be anything, sports, travel, food, culture, loads of different topics. Now, you don't need to know anything about any of these topics. You don't need to bring any understanding of your own to the test, because everything will be in the text. All of the answers are inside the text. So there we have it. This is section 3, longer academic text. It's good that we've gone through some examples because we're slowly building up to the point where we can start thinking about different question types, how we can answer them, look at a few strategies, and then practice actually doing some of the IELTS general tests. So I'll see you in the next lesson.